Okie doke. So, the small things make a big difference as well. What I mean by this is I have started to sort of clean out my desk a bit because the sort of amplifier and sound system I have on my L guitar, electric guitar, I then put on the sort of desk I have here because the sound goes a bit more this way, like in the right direction in my ears, so I can hear the sound better. And already it looks more nice. I feel a little bit motivated. I feel a bit more productive, effective. I just cleaned out my bed from all the clothes, and it sort of feels a bit more nice, fresh, right? The books are now under the TV table, and it just feels a bit more different. The room feels a bit more different, even though it's just such a small change, right? So that, I think that also applies to sort of different sort of things in life as well. It could be just a small change that sort of makes a big difference in habits, mood, whatever it is. Just a small change that you do, even let's say before bed or right after bed, right? The small change of looking at your phone right after you wake up, or looking or just reading a book, choosing to pick that up and reading it before you go to bed, right? Small changes make a difference. It does. It really does. And when it comes to how small it is, I choose to play the guitar, and instead of doing this and that, that can be a small change. It isn't necessarily a big change. It's an individual thing, saying how big it is, but it's also like a universal thing. When it comes to also how big things can be, political change in a country or in the world is a big change. I don't know what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to say is small changes matters. So you don't need to have a big change in order to feel or be sort of on the right path towards your whatever, right? It can be just small changes. You start easy. Let's say in guitar, you just start playing. It doesn't need to be good. You just getting the feel of the guitar, and then you do a small changes on your sort of learning. You start to learn a bit of the chords, and then you just continue with the small steps, right? Small changes, small steps. Potato, potato. Come on. It isn't necessarily that big of difference, I think. But yeah, those small steps and changes. It can be, directional. It can be you're choosing to do something a bit different, or it can be a small change, as in what I just did, cleaning out my desk, but also small changes in my habits, and that is directional maybe. But small changes in, as I mentioned, my playing style. I still play the guitar, but I do some small things to make sure I'm a bit more getting a bit more of the feel of the guitar, let's say. So there's a bunch of different things, right? Different small changes in your sort of individual habits that you can sort of tweak, and that is how you sort of master something. You start by doing it. It doesn't necessarily need to be very complicated. You just start, and then you do the small changes, you do the small tweaks, and then it just slowly gets a bit more fine-tuned, right? Just more and more and more and more and more and more and more, and then you just, yeah, it starts like this, and then you start doing the changes, and then you master it. So yeah. Kella. So yeah, that was my bro. But yeah, that was basically it for today. So small changes matter. Hope you had a good day. Hope you will have a good day. I wish you the best. Have a laugh, have a smile, and be kind. And as always, be nice in the face of darkness. Be the light in the darkness. Okay? It matters. Take care. Goodbye.